October 23, 1944, before the dark forests of Belgium would learn to fear the Timberwolves. The story began far from war at Fort Douglas, Utah. Born April 1, 1888, Terry de la Mesa Allen was raised in a family where service was a birthright. His father, Colonel Samuel Allen, lived by rigid duty. His grandfather had fought at Gettysburg, while other boys played games. Terry learned to ride horses, polish sabers, and fire a rifle with a steady hand. His youth was a rehearsal for battle. At West Point in 1907, the discipline felt like a cage. The chalk dust of endless math classes choked him worse than any battlefield gas. He failed gunnery and mathematics repeatedly, earning the nickname Teared 'em up Allen. Commandants scolded him for his restless nature. He was a Mustang trying to survive in a stable built for purebred stallions. In 1911, the Academy expelled him. Most men would surrender such a dream, but not Terry Allen. He clawed his way forward, attending Catholic University to prove he was more than grades and rules. By 1912, he forced himself back into the Army as a cavalry lieutenant, his commission earned through sheer defiance. On the Mexican border, doctrine said wait for reinforcements. Terry attacked instead 6 men against 30 armed rustlers. Move fast, hit hard, finish the fight, he barked. By dusk, all 30 were captured or dead. A new kind of commander had emerged, fearless, unconventional, and loyal only to victory. Little did the Army know, its greatest rebel was just warming up. When America joined the Great War in 1917, Terry yearned for combat. "Sir, I will not sit in safety while men die," he insisted. In 1918, he joined the 90th Division in France's mud-soaked trenches, barbed wire snarls, machine gun nests vomiting death. During the battles of Saint-Mihiel and the Meuse-Argonne, he unveiled the tactic that would define his legacy: night attacks. Where others saw confusion, Allen saw opportunity. "In darkness, guns can't see," he told his officers. He pushed his troops into moonless nights where shadows became allies' ghosts, slipping behind enemy lines. Soldiers initially doubted him, but when they realized fewer men died under darkness, skepticism turned to devotion. On October 24, 1918, a burst of German fire struck him in the face. Medics tried dragging him away. He shoved them off. "I'll leave when we win," he roared. Blood streamed down his chin as he charged forward, his fury becoming an unbreakable banner. The line advanced. The Germans broke. Allen survived and earned the Silver Star for gallantry. The interwar years slowed many ambitious soldiers, but Allen prepared relentlessly. He raced horses, played Olympic-level polo, studied every modern battlefield report he could find. He was a warrior forced to wait for his war. General George Marshall recognized that restless fire. With World War II rising on the horizon, Marshall promoted Allen from lieutenant colonel to brigadier general, skipping a rank. Trusting instinct over tradition, Terry Allen would have his war again. And this time, the world would remember his name. In 1942, Allen took command of the legendary 1st Infantry Division, the Big Red. Their baptism came in North Africa during Operation Torch, under machine gun storms and artillery thunder. Allen waded ashore shouting to his men, "Forward! No German alive can stop the Big Red One." His courage flowed into them like fuel even as shells tore the sea apart. Tunisia was hell. Rommel's veterans pushed hard. At Kasserine Pass, other commanders fell back in panic. Allen stood firm. At El Gitter, when ordered to retreat, he slammed his fist on the hood of a jeep and growled, "I'll be damned if I pull out, and I'll shoot the first bastard who does." The line held. America scored its first victory over Nazi armor. Sicily only increased his legend. At Gela, under relentless fire, Allen marched at the front grinning like a man made for chaos. At Troina, 24 counterattacks crashed against his division like waves breaking on rock. They never broke. His men adored him for one simple truth: he bled with them. But love from the ranks bred suspicion above. Eisenhower and Bradley feared his relaxed discipline and rough-edged ethos. 2 days before his face appeared on Time magazine, they stripped him of command. Allen packed his gear, soldiers staring in shocked silence. A sergeant whispered, "Sir, they can't take the Big Red from you." Allen smiled sadly. "They already have, but they can't stop me from building the next." A lion had been caged, but lions escape. In October 1943, Allen inherited the 104th Infantry Division, American boys fresh from farms and factories. They needed molding not into soldiers but predators. Allen knew exactly how. Where other generals avoided darkness, Allen embraced it. Training began at night, crawling through freezing mud, navigating forests by compass alone, communicating through gestures and instinct. Exhaustion became routine, fear became extinct. "No flashlights," he barked. "The night is your ally. Learn to disappear in it." He paced among them like a wolf pack leader correcting grips, pushing limits, demanding silence sharper than bullets. Soldiers cursed him in daylight and revered him after sunset. By 1944, they arrived in Europe unlike any other American unit. The Germans would soon give them a name spoken with dread: the American Night Fighters, Allen's Timberwolves. On October 23, 1944, they entered Belgium's dark forests where German veterans waited smugly expecting untested boys. Midnight fell. Gunfire suddenly flared to late. Shadows struck with knives and grenades from impossible angles. Panic spread. Machine gunners fired into emptiness, artillery blasted ghosts. By dawn, German lines were torn open. The Timberwolves vanished into the trees as silently as they'd come. A new legend had arrived and it hunted in darkness. From Belgium to the Roe River, they attacked relentlessly. City after city fell beneath their night assaults. Enemy radio propagandist Axis Sally hissed with frustration. "The Timberwolves are unfair, they fight in the dark." Allen laughed. "Then let them light a candle." December came with terror. The Battle of the Bulge, while chaos consumed the Ardennes. The 104th held firm, unyielding even as the Reich made its final gamble. February 1945, Roe River crossing under a blizzard of artillery. Boats shattered, water exploded into silver plumes. Soldiers paddled through death. Allen stood exposed on the bank shouting, "Forward! The night is ours!" His voice carried strength stronger than the shells. Then Nordhausen. The Timberwolves entered silence darker than any battlefield. Thousands of corpses in striped uniforms. Survivors barely alive reaching with trembling hands. The soldiers who had conquered fear felt tears instead. Allen forced local Germans to bury the dead to face the truth of their empire's crimes. "This," he said coldly, "is why we fight." April Halle, house-to-house combat slowed to negotiation when Allen sat face-to-face with Count von Luckner, a nightly relic of another war. The truce saved thousands of civilians. The Timberwolves marched on. The Reich was crumbling beneath their boots. April 26, 1945. The Timberwolves reached the Elbe River. There they shook hands with Soviet soldiers to armies. One shattered enemy between them. It was the symbolic end. Germany split. The war gasped its final breath. General Bradley once visited his old rebel and said, almost grudgingly, "Terry, your Timberwolves are already ranked with the 1st and 9th as the finest assault divisions in Europe." Allen smirked. "Brad, the 1st and 9th are in damned fast company." For 200 consecutive days of combat, the Timberwolves never failed a mission. Nearly 400 miles of enemy territory conquered, cities liberated, fortresses taken. Night itself turned into a weapon. Yet when peace returned, a fighter like Allen no longer fit the Army's polished image. He retired in 1946, no third star, no parade of glory. But medals weren't what drove him. His legacy marched not in ceremonies, but in the hearts of the men he led from darkness to victory. He taught his soldiers one truth. In war, there is only one rule: win. The Germans learned to fear the night because Terry Allen owned it. Flawed, fearless, unforgettable. The soldier's general. The Wolf who refused a leash.